Yes, and that's right. Big Brother Week 8 is over in the Big Brother 23 house, but we're just getting started here on Super Mader Brothers Podcasting as we wrap up this week, as we see Sarah Beth voted out in unsummarily 5-1 here tonight. I'm Dave Mader, joined with my brother Jeff Mader and co-host Jaemeel Robinson, as we've been for all 8 weeks, breaking out every aired episode of this season. And the third jury member gets added tonight, and Sarah Beth. Jeff, she was your draft pick, and she's out of here.
Oh, I didn't even think about that tonight, to be honest with you.
Jaemeel, I see you're channeling the Beetle, because I don't know if you knew, but because I certainly didn't. But Julie clued us in at the top of this thing that this was a crazy week.
It was a crazy week in the Big Brother house.
Did you know?
I did.
Okay. Yeah. As we saw here tonight, and it had nothing to do with the game. That was the part I did cut off there. It had everything to do with Hannah smashing her head off a hammock because Derek F was afraid of a beetle. And
Tiffany
also
was afraid of the Beetle too.
Tiffany
was he afraid of the Beetle or the Beatles?
Maybe the Beatles.
Well, the Beatles aren't Beyonce.
Don't make me go find that. As I will. Well, what am I? I will.
He's gonna find it.
Of course I am. Here we go.
We didn't make you do anything.
Now, the question I have to ask you, Dave, is what would happen if there was a beetle preventing Big D from listening to Beyonce?
I don't think you should listen to Beyonce. I think you should listen to the Beatles.
He'd be like, "This mouth is dangerous.
This mouth right here is dangerous."
Yeah, he'll eat that beetle. That's how dangerous it is. Yeah. Okay. So this whole episode tonight, we kind of knew this was all going to be playing out the way it was, but let's see what we can take from tonight. And we also got the start of the HOH. We know that at least 2 people fell off, and by the end of this hour, we should have probably a sense of who this new HOH is. We will cover that in our spoiler section later tonight, but we know it won't be either Big D or Alyssa, at least, I think, from the end of the episode, right? So that's all we'll say so far. Tonight. So yeah, it was we had Kylan and Sarah Beth on the block for tonight, and we all kind of knew that with Kylan being a cookout member, he was pretty safe here. But we start tonight after the Julie intro with Hannah taking down Xavier. She says she was doing this to build trust with Xavier, even though I think she already had trust with Xavier. But maybe
More with Alyssa.
We do know the HOH, by the way, but we'll get that in spoilers.
So the competition's already over, so we will cover that in spoilers. But we won't say anything further. And then we know it will be a member of the cookout for certain.
Yep.
Because it can't be Claire and it can't be Alyssa. So, but it can't be Big D either, even though he is a cookout. Okay, but we'll talk more about that at the end. Let's just break it down. Everything that happened tonight in the episode. We also had some segments tonight with Alyssa saying,
"You're the last white person."
You're the last white person, Claire. Is Alyssa not white?
She's Latino.
It's a different thing, Dave. Apparently.
Her ancestors come from Spain, right? Which is in Europe.
Right.
Bro, we're going down this path right now.
Okay. I don't know. It didn't occur to me she wasn't white, but I guess she's not.
She doesn't consider herself white, I guess. I don't know. White is a weird thing.
Do you guys consider her white?
Yeah.
Did you guys consider her white?
Yes. Yeah, I kind of do. I mean, okay. I don't.
As a white person, I consider her white as well.
I mean, do you consider Brittany white, Jaemeel? Do you consider Brittany white?
Brittany, I don't know what her
she's Italian.
Is.
She's Italian.
Okay, so she's Caucasian.
What's I don't understand what the difference is. Explain it to me. I want to know.
To Alyssa, she does not self-identify as white,
right.
So she can be whatever she wants, I guess.
Exactly. That's true.
But
okay.
Well, hey, if I'm an ignorant white guy, just educate me here.
I never said you're an ignorant white.
But you're kind of implying it. So
I am not.
You're like chuckling and
no. No, honestly. I thought everyone knew that she was Latino, so like
Well, I know she's Latino. I guess I just consider that not it's not the same to me as being like, you know,
It's a
Asian.
different culture. It's
But,
a different
yeah.
culture. Like to me, I compare it to more Italian or Greek, or you know, to me
do you
like
consider Italian or Greek people of color?
No.
sometimes, yeah, I guess.
Sometimes.
I mean, I don't know. Like it's a tough. There is that the Mediterranean culture is where the line starts getting drawn. So you know, like it's tough.
As more sun is in these parts of the world, then it seems to be directly related to how much sun or lack of sun is wherever these people's ancestors come from. You know, so but I was just saying that Alyssa was calling out Claire tonight, that she would be the last white person.
So okay, like you thought it was like Alyssa was basically telling Claire, "You're gonna be well, no, that wouldn't even make sense. Like saying that she would be voted out next. Alyssa would be
just that once Sarah Beth's gone, then you know she's the last white person.
So did that scene make sense to you, or it's like, why is the white person saying to the other white person,
right,
you're gonna be the last white person?
Right.
It made sense because I clued in very quickly. She was saying, I don't consider myself the same.
Okay,
Right.
okay.
No, I get that she doesn't like. I get that Latino people don't consider themselves Caucasian, like you said. I understand that, but there is a line. Like there is a like.
It seems blurred. It seems pretty blurred.
It's blur. It's a blurry line.
When we're dealing with alliances that are drawn by racial lines. You know, I guess she's not. But to Xavier's point tonight, it's not just about going after white people. It's just non-black people. So, which Alyssa, she definitely doesn't qualify for that, right?
Well, yeah, I guess. I mean, like, I don't know. Like, I do wonder if Hannah wasn't half black, would she be in their alliance? I don't think so. You know,
or Kylan, he's half
right. Him too
as well.
He's half Hispanic, I guess. You know, so
or Latino.
So, Hannah, you would think Hannah would not be included.
If she was fully an Indian, like just Indian, no, because Derek X wasn't included. He's a person of color.
He is a person of color, yes.
Right. So I don't know. It just struck me. It stood out to me. Claire said wild.
Wild.
Yeah. But she's and the snort. Oh my god.
I love the snort. She's just leaning into it now, I think.
But Claire's leaning into it, you know?
Open white person, baby, all day.
All day.
I know. I've done that math less item.
But how do you expect her to respond? She's like, wait, what? She should have said, wait, I'm white? What?
No, don't worry, BB. No spoilers tonight. We won't, until we get to the spoiler section. But there will be a Ruafu and a Brittany to warn you before that comes, even though he knows. Yes, we will be talking about that tonight. Yeah, okay. Well, I don't know. It just like these were the thoughts I had as I was watching it. I was like, okay. And then Xavier, very upset with Alyssa over this whole exchange. How dare you, Alyssa, even get Claire on the scent?
Keep Claire off the scent that we're not just getting out black people.
What do they care? Like honestly, what does he care? Like they have all the power. They're sweeping the house to get to 6. They know it's done. It's like the mission accomplished. And he's like Xavier's, I think, fretting over this stuff too much. You know,
it's his only job.
Yeah,
day in and day out, right? So he's just like, you know, like he wants to not just win, but win like convincingly.
I just think I gotta like at least we had a scene tonight where we're moving past this finally. Like, you know, they mission accomplished. They got to 6. They did what they wanted to do. Like now we can actually watch the game, you know, because for me, everything the last 3 weeks have just been boring and predictable and just not really fun, you know, for me, as far as like nobody's even there's very little gameplay. Everybody's on the same page except the person going home.
But it's genius, Jeff.
It's honestly extremely genius.
The best strategy does not necessarily make the best television.
Right.
Well, that's true. But that's in sports and that's in lots of things, right?
Oh, yeah. Sports, like sometimes the best team that is the worst team to watch play, you know, the game. You know,
Yeah, least entertaining.
Yeah.
But the results are the results. So is it like, do you care about championships and games and wins and W's, or is it about like who was the most fun thing to watch, or what was the best era of a
Hey,
game?
Dave, it's why I'm a Leaf fan, and it pains me because they play entertaining hockey, but they never win. You know,
Right, and that's why that's why they keep making money too, right?
yeah.
So yeah, I think that all good points. We had here that we had we had the whole segment where they almost burned down the house and or gave Hannah a concussion because Derek F was in the hammock with Hannah and I guess Tiffany too, and this is when they were getting ready for surf and turf night. I don't know if, well, except for I guess for Claire, she's vegan, so she takes no responsibility for this. But so I guess a beetle landed on Derek F while he was in the hammock with them.
The beetle didn't even lead on it. Like it was
getting close. He didn't like it. It was buzzing near him. And Tiffany got quite upset. Here's the clip.
No, she fell and hit her head on that wood.
Big D got tiny little baby Hannah in the other side of the hammock. He catapults out of the hammock. Hannah slams down onto the wood like a dead fish.
Like a dead fish.
D is running from some beetle.
Look,
Yeah.
that was some George Costanza type of shit happening.
Yeah.
He's like, I don't care about that. I'm getting out this way of this beetle. And even when Tiffany's looking after, what is Derek F doing? He's trying to swat the beetle with a frisbee.
Yeah, he was still worried about the beetle even after he realized he had kind of hurt her. She had Tiffany was not impressed. And do you think he was getting her back because he said he was going to get even with Hannah, didn't he? Last night wasn't over that movie. Do you think this was about Dear Evan Hansen?
Maybe.
Here. I got
Hannah,
her
you
back.
definitely did me dirty, and I will not forget it, my love.
He would not forget it.
Is he more joking or is he more serious when he says stuff like that?
Well, I think he's serious in the sense that he's gonna get her like in some kind of prank or strategy wise. He's not gonna deep six her into a piece of wood so she knocks her head.
Right. I don't think he did it intentionally. I wasn't insinuating that.
He was just like he didn't. I think what Tiffany objects to sometimes is that he doesn't really understand his own spatial awareness around how he's a big guy, right? And so when he gets up like that out of a hammock, it's going to affect others who may be balancing with him. And other things just around, because as a big guy, I've had to be careful of this in my life, when you're around smaller, fragile people, perhaps, you got to be sort of aware of not to hurt people.
Spatial awareness is important.
Yeah.
Yeah. I thought it was a funny moment, in this episode. And Hannah's been kind of a mean girl. I'm not saying she deserved it, but it was a bit of Schadenfreude for me. She's I'm not digging the attitude from Hannah. She's like a mean girl bully in high school, and at least she took it well. She did take it well, and she was very nice to Big D about it. But
Tiffany, on the other hand, look, I'm blaming Big D for this situation. But at the same time, Tiffany, how could you go and blame the dude for getting out of the way, right? When you 5 seconds earlier, not even 5 seconds, was jumping out of the way of that same beetle. So don't throw shade at Big D. It made no sense to me.
Tiffany was ready to have him.
She was like that with the beetle too. She was getting out of there. So
yeah. Oh no, she totally did too.
Yeah, so
yeah, that's true. That's fair. That's fair point. Fair point. Yeah, Tiffany kind of did throw everything at Derek F. For those, and then on the inside, while this was all going on, because a lot of people were tending to Hannah, you have Azza and Claire almost burning down the house by leaving this thing in the oven. We see. I thought that the pan on top of the stove was what they kept showing us, but it was actually inside the oven.
It was the smoke coming out of the oven.
Smoke is what they were showing, but I was afraid something like even when they sprayed it, something was going to happen with the pan, or I didn't know where it was going. But the pan wasn't hot at all. It was actually all inside the oven, and then they had to get the fire extinguisher. you know, and I guess with COVID, the production just can't run in. Like the house guests have to.
Even without COVID, they weren't going to do that.
Yeah, they weren't going to do that. The house guests have to put the fire out themselves. You know, I guess so. Hey, they do it, but it was like they were all just like bewildered by the whole thing. Like, I can't believe what just happened in the last 20 minutes.
So just as I mentioned before concerning Tiffany, same thing with Claire. You're going, oh, don't blame me, I'm vegan. Like, what? So you're not looking after the stove? Like, what's going on, right? And like, I don't understand it. It's surf and turf, so they made the shrimp or whatever first or whatever, and they're doing the steak, but they're doing the steak in the oven, which is kind of sus to begin with.
A little sus.
And then second, if you're going, there's 10 minutes left. If there's actually 10 minutes left, you would turn off the stove. Turn off the stove.
And you knew what you were doing.
Yeah, you cruise control. You cruise control to
That's
the
a little
end.
sus.
Right? You're not running to the end. What's that 10 minutes of high heat gonna do? Right? It's gonna
dry out that steak.
Exactly.
Yeah. Well, I think maybe with the steak was a lost cause, overdone to the point it was on fire by the end of it. You know, I don't know who.
Like, how much time elapsed in terms of you not paying attention to the oven? I think those steaks were done for to begin with. In my opinion.
Yeah, did you buy Claire's excuse that not my fault? I'm not even eating the steaks. I'm a vegan.
So she should be concerned to make sure that should be her job. She can like have a third person perspective on the situation. Oz's busy cooking the stuff that you're not going to eat because you're not going to eat the shrimps either.
Yeah, I think they left the wrong two in Claire and Ozza to tend to the kitchen during this whole thing. I think like maybe they weren't necessarily the stewards.
I think there were too many cooks.
Too many cooks, or not enough. Yeah, and then so Jeff, any other thoughts on that whole segment before we move on to the bathroom where the cookout got together?
No, we can go into that.
Okay, so the cookout, the reason they've been so successful is because they've never been in a room together. They've never been seen, just the six of them together. And that's why it's worked. Do you believe that?
No.
Why do you think it has worked? Why, like you even saw tonight in the jury segment with Derek X, I'm sorry, and Brittany. Like they were kind of putting it together, but they still didn't think like Ozza, I'm sorry, Hannah. They like Derek X still doesn't believe Hannah was in this alliance, you know, because they assumed she would tell him, but she never did.
Here's my thing. We have some naive players playing this game, and a bunch of players got together and saw, based on history, that this would be a good thing to do the Black Person Alliance. And I think in the culture we live in now, that just to bring it up in the house was going to be difficult, and just to call it out, whatever. And so I think it almost like I think everyone kind of just blocked it out. It's like everyone's asking, how did people not see this? I mean, Ozza was asking that tonight, right?
Yeah, I got that as a clip actually. How do people not see this? Where is this?
Right. And I do think
don't know how people don't see, like,
and they're like, don't jinx it. So shut up, Ozza.
I think it's just a lot of naivete and just not good gameplay. Just not thinking. Nobody, those people that we're talking about, Brittany, Derek X, Claire, Sarah Beth, never got together and talked ever. But the cookout did. And that's kind of what happened here, guys. I mean, that's really all it comes down to. That's how I look at it. I don't know about you guys.
Well, yeah, I think they've pulled this off. I think like they should be commended that the players are naive, but they're working like those personalities, like like that's what you're supposed to do. Like we saying, like just because it's effective doesn't mean it's entertaining. But they have been they've had their eye on the prize. Like just like BB saying, it was boring when the Raptors won Game 6 for the championship. Come on,
no, it was great.
It was boring as shit. The refs ruined it. They ruined that moment.
They ruined the ending of it with the constant fouls. But it was great. I was at the Air Canada Center in Jurassic Park. I was partying up. So what you would have heard if you were at the final moments is, this is BS. Roll out the damn championship. The game is over. Me repeating that over and over again for about 2 minutes.
Yeah.
The game is over.
Jeff and I
Roll
were
out
at
the
Jurassic Park
championship.
Burlington.
Yeah,
which is,
we were at
across the
Spencer's
street.
Pit.
Roll out the championship. It's
I
over.
kept saying the same thing too. I'm like, this game's over. It's over. Why are they even reviewing this? What's
I know.
going on?
I was in pain, and I'm not even like the most diehard Raptors fan, but I was excited and I wanted them to win.
Fun fact: they actually set off the confetti early, because when the clock expired when Kawhi was doing his shot.
When he stole the when he did the shot.
Yeah, when he stole it and got fouled with the and one. So they already shot off the confetti, and then they had to roll it back, right, and do it again a second time. So they had 2 bursts.
They had to put that confetti back in. That must
No,
have
they
been
didn't
tough.
do second burst.
They had to have a second confetti, a backup. We have a backup confetti cannon just in case we have a premature confetti.
But like everyone was celebrating from like long before that. It was
Oh
fun.
yeah, because everyone knew for like literally 15 minutes the Raptors are gonna win.
Yeah,
you know,
but painfully
once,
and slowly.
Well,
once Steph Curry missed the 3 and Kawhi got the ball, the game was over. You know.
Yeah. So, but back to the game, back to the Big Brother game, and that whole
point, Dave, hold on a second. It's very rare that I get basketball talk in here. Okay, one more thing. Fun fact: that play, the Steph Curry play, was almost the exact same play, but on the opposite side that the Raptors used to win Game 4 against Boston Celtics. The OG shot.
So yeah, very similar.
The exact same play.
Yeah, except OG made it and
Yes.
Steph missed. Yeah. So OG's clearly a better 3-point shooter
OG,
than Steph.
Yeah. Dave, tell
Yes.
me if this isn't badass. When they asked OG about the shot, and he's like, "What were you thinking about that shot?" He's like, "I didn't think anything." It's like, "Did you think you were gonna miss?" He's like, "I don't shoot to miss." Okay, back to Big Brother. Sorry, that's it. Done.
Well, you know who also doesn't shoot to miss? The Cookout. I did like Derek F in there. He's like, I just want to get our photo shoot final 6 on the magazine cover. Like, I do think I would be friends with him in this house. Like, he's just an energy I would enjoy.
He's a lot of fun. He's definitely a lot of fun.
But he seems to really get on some people's nerves, in particular. I don't understand why Kylan doesn't like him more, but he says he loves him. But
Kylan's super serious and he's just no. Those two, I understand why they don't mix. Yeah, they're oil and water.
He like Derek F loves Kylan more than Kylan loves Derek F.
Yeah.
Right.
It's gonna be a situation where like you'll be friends with someone and you're like, I love this dude so much, but he gets on my last nerve, my last damn nerve.
Well, yeah, I think that's who he is for Kylan, right? They even got like Xavier out of bed for this meeting tonight in the bathroom. He didn't seem too happy with it. He's like, yeah, cookout, but only one of us wins the money, and it will be me.
Yeah, let's be clear here. A lot of these players in the cookout are using this cookout to get to the end. Like they are.
What the alliance is for?
Absolutely, 100%. But I feel bad for like a Big D because he has no chance to ever like win power. Every competition that comes up, I feel bad for him, and kind of Azza too, because they're just
awkward.
They're awkward and they're not good athletes, and they're like everything seems to be athletic.
Derek F is the son of one of the greatest athletes in American history.
Unless he's lifting something, that's his strength. Literally.
Yeah. Until he gets like a bench press or something. Yeah, that's like the only
or just something like like the egg stuff, like who knows who's good at that, like stuff like that is just arbitrary that anybody might be good at. I prefer that. Like I think they need to make these competitions a little bit more even.
Fair?
Yeah, just a little bit more fair for everyone. When you're casting bigger sized people like Brittany, I guess, and like Big D.
But he has as much of a chance to win a mental comp as anybody else, and he never does.
Well, yeah, I guess, but there's way more athletic competitions than there are mental. I mean,
yeah, I would like to see what Derek F does with power. I don't know if we'll ever get to see it.
HOitis, HOH-itis
You're right.
Like up to
It's probably good it hasn't happened to him early in this game, in a lot of ways, because I think it would have pissed off people like Tiffany, because if he, especially if he wanted to do his own plan.
Jeff wouldn't mind
yeah,
that. Like we did this competition, which I hate. I always hate this competition.
Me too.
Right,
the one where you have to hold onto the rope.
Stupid.
And you hit the elephant,
you hit the whatever it
is.
is. Tonight was an elephant with the bubbles coming out of its butt.
It's just stupidity, in my opinion, as opposed to like do slip and slide.
Yeah,
do slip and slide. You know what? It's still hard for Derek, honestly, to win that one. But you have people who are gonna just tire out. Honestly,
Kylan would probably win the slip and slide.
I don't know.
What they should have done instead of making the secret HOH throw it, what they should have done is done slip and slide and had a jar where you could get gone to be safe, and only one person could be safe.
Or they put a hole in hers that's so small that it constantly leaks. So no matter how much water she puts in, it will never be enough to beat it out anyone, unless a miracle happens, which it wouldn't.
Right.
Yeah. Something like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, we're good. Okay. And the other news we didn't talk about yet was that we're gonna get double evictions after this 2 weeks in a row. Next Thursday and the following Thursday, both double evictions.
So they're tired. They're like, yeah, let's get on with this. Okay.
Well, it's a little late, isn't it? Couldn't we we could have done this a bit sooner, but
sweeps.
We got to do it for sweeps. It's September. So, as we had talked about this last night, we are getting the 2 double evictions this season, but usually we would have one pre-jury and there'd be one maybe around this time too. So they've backloaded them. I think that's actually been because this alliance happens to have been running this game. That's why this feels a little late, right? Because they've been so dominant, but it's going to make the end game pretty interesting.
It's going to work out that possibly Derek F is going to be gone next week.
Right. Unless he somehow saves himself, right? By either winning or
I hope not. I hope not.
Like the second eviction because Oh, sorry. I thought you were gonna go. The second eviction, because if they take out Big D during the second eviction, that means Alyssa or Claire is gonna make it to final 6.
Can Derek F survive both double evictions?
Yeah,
probably not. But I mean, he could. But here's the deal. I'm Joe Biden. Here's the deal. Listen up. I think what went on tonight with Kylan and Tiffany showed me how a naive a player Kylan is. It's just going to Tiffany and going I actually think that you're that one person, but it might be X too, but I think you're that one person.
Right. Well, this told me everything I have to know about Kylan too, because we saw there was earlier where he was that we saw the meeting with Derek F and Xavier and Kylan, which this was smart. But the problem is Kylan is the kind of the weak link, I think, in those 3, because I think that the women member of the cookout are going to come from the men member of the cookout, and the men member of the cookout should be going after the women members. But
this is my point, Dave. Derek F has a major point here strategically, and they're just saying, no, screw you, Big D, because nobody really likes you. And he has a good point that the girls will come for the boys. If you can't see Hannah and Tiffany are close, come on.
Exactly. But I think the flaw here is, I guess, in Kylan, in his personality, because why does he think he wants? Why does he want? He was on board. We talked about this in the spoiler section last night. That they showed this whole meeting with Tiffany and Kylan tonight. We are going to get out Derek F as soon as possible. And he says, I like him and everything, or I love him. I love Big D, but Tiffany is a player I respect more. I respect her and Xavier's game. But okay, here's my take on it. Kylan is an elitist, and he thinks that Xavier and Tiffany are good enough. I think he sees Derek F as below his station.
He thinks that it's one, he's elitist, and he thinks that he's at the top of the food chain, and you can hear the terms people throw at him to like feed that ego. It's like, you're obviously the top target and I'm the second target, like second target after you, right? He's like, yeah, I see the pecking order, right, and I'm up there. And then and then it's like, for me to beat Derek F would make it seem like I was worried that you might beat me. It's like, I know I can beat you, so that's why I will take you, right? Because everyone else is just an obstacle I can easily overcome because I'm such a mastermind.
Right. I don't want to be too easy on myself.
Yes.
Yeah. I want to say, like, I climbed the mountain, I guess, or whatever he's I don't know. Whatever he wants to, whatever lies he wants to tell himself, he's open to do so. But what I see here is that Kylan just, Derek F's trash to me, really. At the end.
They do look at him. They look down on him, and I think it has to do with also Big D's ego, of him thinking he's running everything, and he knows, like just the way he talks in the DR was like, well, my mouth's the only thing that's going to get me in trouble, and I think there's a lot of egos going on in this Cookout Alliance. Tiffany's got a huge ego. Xavier's got an ego, but it's quiet. Like, you could see the wheels turning when he's in the DR and stuff, and he's just trying to make sure.
Who's the most humble member of the Cookout?
I would say Azza.
Because you know she's garbage.
I know.
And she's not humble.
No. I think she has a realistic understanding of where she is in terms of the pecking order.
Yeah. I think that's true. Yeah, but she's well, we can analyze Ozza more, but like I just thought, like, also tonight where Derek F, the way Derek F is seeing the game was like that Kylan will never take Xavier and Xavier will never take Kylan.
At the end of the day, I know Kylan's not going to take Xavier and Xavier's not going to take Kylan, so I'm the only option to take to the final two.
If they're smart.
If they're smart, but they're not smart, Big D, and that's the problem. Is they don't
Xavier might be.
They don't see the house that way. They don't see the house, I think, as a boy versus girl once it gets to 6. But guess what? Tiffany and Hannah definitely do, and Azza is just a number for them. And so, yeah, like that's. I think a girl's going to win this season, guys. I mean, that's how I feel about it.
I think it's looking that way based on the way that the things are arranging. Of course, it's all going to depend on which member of the 6 goes first, I think, ultimately, and who gets power at what time. But so there was all of that. Derek F saying this mouth is dangerous.
This mouth right here is dangerous. And I know I could debate, argue, convince, do whatever it takes and take it home. And I can win that money.
Are they actually afraid that he can get into a final 2 and convince a jury to give him the money? I don't think so.
I don't think so.
Yeah, so that's why get rid of him. Why is it so important to get rid of him at 6?
Because I think he's going to go off script.
Who cares?
This mouth right here is dangerous.
Here's the problem, right? And I kind of see what you're talking about. Like, he's not going to be a consistent threat to win comps, right? But at the same time, Tiffany can scope, right? Tiffany can scope what Kylan, what Xavier, what Hannah, right, is going to say in terms of their jury speeches, right? And can prepare for that. Vice versa at the same time, right? She would also be able to scope, hey, if Xavier wins at this point, I know what he's going to do. Right?
Right.
What is Derek F going to do?
Who knows? Yeah, I think that's it. I think you're onto it too. That, like, Derek F is just too unpredictable.
He's an unknown.
He's an unknown, and therefore they don't like it. Question here. If Derek F isn't that final 2, let's say against Tiffany, what's his argument to win against Tiffany?
He doesn't have one. He needs to sit beside Azza to win.
Yeah. Or what if he was sitting next to, like, Hannah? Could he win against Hannah?
No. Probably, maybe. Hannah, I think, has a hard time coming across as likable. Guys, look at her, like, goodbye messages to the last, like, 3 jurors.
Just
not good.
She didn't call her Sketch B in the goodbye message. Though.
Sketch B. But she did say to her tonight, you have a tendency of, like, throwing. I forget what exact wording was, but it was
going
like,
after people or something.
yeah, like she threw shade at her, like out the door. Why? It didn't need to do it.
Kylan's not going to win if he's in the final two, because what he's doing right now in terms of letting people know, like dropping hints, right? People are going to ask, is Kylan the mastermind? And that's going to be immediately shot down. It doesn't matter who's in the jury house. If Oz is there, they're going to shoot it down. If Hannah's there, they're going to shoot it down. If Derek F is going to be there, he's going to shoot it down. If Xavier's going to be there, he's going to shoot it down. Right? There's no one there that's going to be able to defend Kylan in the jury if he's in the finals.
Not even Sarah Beth.
Sarah Beth.
Did you see her face when she found out when Kylan dropped the bomb on her tonight? Did you see it? Like she was like, "Yeah, Julie, just feeling great." And secretly in her head, she's like, "Fucking Kylan,"
Well, yeah, that her best friend didn't tell her this, right? So
it's a huge betrayal of their friendship. It really, like at the end of the day, yes, it's a game, right? But those two were the closest friends, probably of anybody in the house, I would say. Yep. And for that to happen, like if I went to the house and I really had this genuine friendship with somebody, and then I found out like they completely were lying and manipulating me the entire time, you're gonna feel dirty, are you not?
Well, I think Sarah Beth was processing it. She was like, "Well, I expect the game moves, and they got me, and whatever." And I do want to talk about her exit interview because it's obviously she has no idea what was going on. Like they've been so good at controlling that narrative over the non-cookout members for so long that it's like it's so ludicrous to some of them, the non-members of the alliance, right? What's happening? It's
so unbelievable. It's believable,
right?
That's
exactly.
Yeah.
The jury segment tonight. Let's talk about that. Brittany she apparently was talking to a statue for about a week. We think.
Man, I need friends.
Yeah.
This is what is it? On brand. It's on brand. This is what we call on brand.
Yeah. And we saw that Derek X eventually joins her, and she's quite sad to see him. Can't believe it. They watch his whole eviction, and he explains it to her. What you guys think of that segment? And
Brittany be working. That's what I thought about. She'd be working. She's working hard.
We didn't think we'd get a jury segment maybe this early, but I guess they got to fill the show up with something.
With Derek X, who's a needle.
Oh, right, and yeah, he brings up the ratings, right? Yeah. The Derek X. So it was nice to see him back, Derek X, like at least in a jury segment. I'm kind of curious now when Sarah Beth joins the crew and they kind of clue her in on this, because she'll say, "Yeah, Kylan told me in the goodbye speech he's working with a major alliance."
I don't know what you guys were watching, but Brittany was moving the needle for me in that segment. Derek X was putting me to sleep. Brittany was gold. Like everything she was doing was TV gold tonight. I loved it. Hey, DX, let's go to the hot tub at the end. That was the most ridiculous part.
Yeah, he was like, great. Like, I think Derek X, his week alone with Brittany, I think is going to change him.
He's going to be writing books about it. Yeah,
that's the life feeds I need. I need Brittany and Derek X alone in this jury house.
Yeah.
I bet you next week there's a segment with her teaching him martial arts. I bet you. I bet you so much.
He's already a black belt by the time we get to next week, right? Because everything he does, he does.
He's going to have a black headband on. I'm telling you.
He'll be the Karate Kid. We got a question here. Could Derek F identify each double cross committed against each juror to make them mad? So is that Derek F's move maybe at the end? Could he sort of like say, "Hey, Sarah Beth, you thought Kylan was your friend. Obviously he wasn't," but doesn't he have that same thing though with Brittany? Is my question to that. Like, can't Brittany say to him, like, "Well, Derek F, you never told me about the cookout," or Azza for that matter?
I kept on getting put up on the block, and you did nothing for me. Yeah. Why didn't Claire get constantly be put? Well, why didn't Alyssa get constantly put on the block? Right? Why was it just me that I was the? If you guys had all this control, why was I always going up on the block?
Yeah.
If I was your duo, why was I always going up on the block?
Right. You know, and especially when Brittany was crying on their shoulder like over and over again, like I could see her being a little bit upset with Derek F. Maybe.
And then if Ozza's on the jury, isn't Ozza going to chime in and say, "Hey, I kept constantly saying I would go up instead of Brittany. Derek F, what did you say?"
Right.
Just saying.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I just wrote that like Derek X seemed depressed.
Yeah, no, he's just bummed out, man. Like I would be too if like every single time competition came up and I had zero chance to win it, it would bum me out.
I was talking about Derek X though.
Oh, Derek X. Oh, Derek X is depressed. Sorry. Yeah.
In that segment, like you said, he was putting you to sleep. So maybe.
Yeah, man. Like, yeah, he's bummed out too. He's in this position. I think one, he's a week alone with Brittany. Well, that's a lot of energy to deal with, and two, I just think he knows like something. He's still not quite. I think the Hannah thing's bothering him. Don't you guys feel that way? Like, I think
he doesn't know for sure that Hannah's in the big alliance, right?
Right. But Brittany will like try to be like, no way. So when he finds that out, I think like Sarah Beth, it's gonna kind of bother him.
I think he's rational about it. He's not gonna. He's the type of one that's he's gonna have logic take over, and he's gonna be like, that's a good game play move.
Right.
I
think so, especially if Hannah wins. I think he'll respect it. You know,
sure.
So it will, but yeah, it was Hannah and Derek F. Right? Was the other one they didn't think could be in this alliance in the cookout.
No, it was
because they thought Ozza was in it. They thought Ozza was like they named them. They're like Kyland, Ozza, Tiffany, and Xavier. Like they thought that they were, then they figured out like the +1 strategy, but they just don't understand that it also includes Hannah and Derek F.
So did that mean Brittany thought she was more Ozza than Derek F?
Yes, that's what Brittany thinks. Yes, and maybe that's true, right? And so maybe Derek F. from that standpoint doesn't have to feel guilty, and maybe to your question, B Bean could work in his if he got to final 2, and maybe he can make that a case if he puts that all together sort of in a way that's going to sell. Before this season, he's saying, didn't Derek F know ahead of time that he would not win comps? Well, I don't know if he knew that, right? Like, he probably knew he wouldn't win some types of comps, but I don't know if he expected to do this poorly. Because he's never even in like the final 2 or 3 ever for anything. Yeah. So he hasn't even accidentally won something. Except for like, no, he did accidentally win something. He won some BB bucks because Derek X was so popular that he had spillover votes.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, like to that question, I just think like the competitions are not quite fair. Like I said earlier,
Where's the chicken coop? Yeah, you're right. Where's the chicken coop?
Where's the pressure box? Where are the competitions that literally don't matter how fast you can run or how long you can stay on a rope? Like, come on. Like these things should not matter in a parlor game reality TV show. You know, like Survivor is a bit different. It's a bit more about the nature shots and stuff and that they want to get. And I understand why it's a little bit more physical.
What do you think it would be like, though, Jeff, if like instead of an HOH competition, the HOH was just random, like picked out of a hat?
No.
I
like someone mentioned if an entire season was anonymous HOHs.
Yeah, I don't know about that one. That would be kind of cool, but no. I think just make the competitions like parlor games, you know, literally like throw in a ball, like a skee ball, you know, like who knows who's good at that, you know, like these type of things.
Challenges they do and things like that. Like
they did, like the one they did in the season where it was the croquet ball thing or whatever
with the shark, right?
Yeah, with the shark. Like that was a good one.
That
like,
was
you know,
maybe do a version of that again.
Where's the slingshot? We haven't done the slingshot one where it's like the slingshot goes and you get the points and stuff. We haven't done that in a while.
Yeah, like I think that maybe they've been a little bit more physical orientated, these competitions set, although there's been plenty of mental ones and anybody can win those, like the true falses and memorizing things and whatever.
Yeah.
If they want to, if they apply themselves and they have that kind of mindset. Yeah, but okay, let's just get back to the final eviction tonight because the speeches after the jury segment, we had Sarah Beth's speech. It was just she was kind of pleading. I think she knew this was going, or she thought she was going. Kylan's speech was the most boring thing ever. Blah blah blah. Although she did throw some shade, Julie Chen rather threw some shade at Kylan about that. But first,
By the way, but first, it's copywritten. Just saying.
yeah, don't try to take her butt first.
No, that's a strike against you, Kylan. You have no chance now.
Right,
But
comment here too. Well, Mary also thinks you're right, Jeff. You're right. And Jeff, there have been mental comps, yes, and the shark comp that you mentioned, but DF did not do well at anything.
Yeah, no, I know, but I think he's been kind of bummed out, right from the beginning, and that's probably a bit on him. But at the same time, like, just look at how the teams were set up. Like, there's a reason why the Kings didn't lose, guys. Like, they were the most dominant athletic team. They had Xavier and Christian and Alyssa.
And who was the fourth?
And Sarah Beth.
Sarah Beth, who obviously can win things too. So
yeah,
it was a good team.
The Jokers, no surprise, they lost. Like, and so like that dictated this whole game in a lot of ways. And Frenchie also, let's face it, Frenchie had a lot to do with why
Frenchie set the tone for the whole season.
Yeah, no, 100%. And what he did was ridiculous and should never be done. To be honest with you,
to handle the first HOH of the season, Frenchie. Yeah. Okay, but I would be remiss if I didn't mention Derek X still doesn't know how. Or sorry, Derek F. Derek F. still doesn't know how to vote to evict.
Hello, Big D.
Hey, Julie, what's going on, baby?
Please cast your vote to evict.
I gladly to a vote Sarah Beth.
Okay, he's doing this shit on purpose.
Yeah.
He's doing it on purpose, and I think production has talked to him, and he retorted back saying, "I'm going to do it this way. Too bad." I think that's what happened.
Automatic nomination then. If he's totally that's what they should do. Production should put its foot down.
I gladly to a vote. E-vote? He's e-voting?
I think he's e-voting or he's evoking. Changes.
I don't know if he knows those words, either of them. Evoke or vote. But it's because they're not. E-vote is not what I know. Yeah. Okay. And then we had Sarah's Sarah Beth rather her exit interview. Just here's a clip.
After Derek X to get him evicted. Am I right? Is that who you're referring to?
I actually don't regret that so much. I regret being so obvious with my loyalty to Kyland, and I regret not playing more loyal to Tiffany and Claire because I think that would have been better for my game overall. I stand by my decision to get rid of Derek X.
Okay.
She's leading in. Lead in, girl. Do it.
She does. Yeah, she doesn't give up. No, she
still thinks that was the right move.
Yeah, she'll watch back the season and probably think, you know what was I supposed to do? See this alliance that should be obvious, but obviously isn't once you're in the house, and it's just kind of like I can't blame her for not figuring it out because she was closest with Kai and Kai never told her. And so these type of things are tough, that, yeah, like I have a hard time blaming her,
Right.
But at the same time, she didn't work hard. We didn't see a single scene, guys, tonight of Sarah Beth trying to get Kylan out. Like, we didn't see anything. Week. Yeah, the whole week. We didn't see anything where Sarah Beth was playing. Like, this is what I mean by, I was calling them naive earlier. They're playing this weird game where it's like, oh, whoever the HOH is decides who goes home. And I don't fight for myself, and I get sit beside the person I really like in the house the most, so I'm not going to really campaign against them, even though I say I will, but I won't, I just, like, who wants to watch that? Like, I want to watch messy. Like, what happened to the days of Rachel Riley coming back into the house and going nuts on Reagan? I miss those days.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, Sarah Beth, she didn't really. We knew you for too long. That's Jeff. We're gonna cross off Sarah Beth
for too long. Jesus.
Yes, our third juror now, Sarah Beth. We're crossing off the board. Drafted by Jeff, 7th overall in this year's draft. You can see there, I'm still standing strong with Xavier at the very top.
Oz is still in it.
Daryl still got Kylan.
Yeah,
Amanda. Derek F looks like a good pick at 3. You know
I will
what?
tell you this: anybody can win this game for me at this point, except Kylan. I just don't want Kylan to win.
Okay, I was actually asked Amanda that same question of the cookout. Who am I going for, and who do I not want to win the game? I have 3 people on each side. So the people I want, I'd be okay, and I'd be happy for them if they won the game. Tiffany, Derek F, and Azza. I'd be happy if either 3 of those people win the game. The people I don't want to win the game are Hannah, Xavier, and Kylan.
Really?
What's wrong with Xavier?
Xavier has just been coasting this whole time. Everything's going his way, and
that's not his fault.
No, it's not his fault. But I don't want to cheer for it. And and if he wins, he wins. But it's just kind of when I didn't want Derek Lavaseur to win. And when Cody won that final HOH, I was like, cut him, and he didn't cut him. And I wanted
That's who
Cody.
Kylan is. Kylan is Cody.
Yeah, he is.
Xavier is Derek.
So yeah, in a lot of ways, that's a great comparison. And Big D is kind of Victoria, or Azza's Victoria. One
of the, or they're both they collectively are representing that role, right?
Yeah, either one of them could be that role.
Who's the beast mode? Tiffany?
No, that's too much credit to beast mode.
Hannah, maybe.
Yeah, Hannah, maybe. I don't even Hannah. I don't know, but
right. But we saw. Yeah, so we are now fully through half the cast.
Alyssa's beast mode, Dave. Alyssa's
the beast mode. Yeah,
doesn't play the game, just sits around.
Just falls off ropes
gets
early.
Told what to do.
Yeah, even when there's CBS or Paramount Plus subscriptions on the line, Jeff, she falls off.
Right. What a great moment.
They're like, just hold on until cameras are done.
I think she hurt herself, guys. I think that's what I mean. She purposely got off. She didn't fall off.
She didn't look good, actually. She looked like she was in pain, or she was
at
least upset.
Like a cramp or something happened to her.
Yeah. Just to remind ourselves who's got who in the draft. I got Xavier left, as mentioned. Daryl has got Kylan and Claire still in this game. Amanda has,
both are players.
Right, but they don't like each other too much. Sean's out of it. Jaemeel, you only got Azza left.
Yeah.
Jane's got Alyssa, maybe the target this week, perhaps. And then we got Hannah. Jeff, you've lost Sarah Beth now. So Hannah is your hope. And Jen's out of this too. She only had Travis Whitney. So every week we update this. So check that all out. And in the HOH competition, which featured bubbles coming out of butts and elephants.
I don't really support elephants at the circus.
Claire does not support, just saying, Claire does not support elephants at the circus, even statues of elephants.
Yeah. Look, I'm not a fan of zoos, so yeah. But that being said, I don't need to repeat it over and over again.
Yeah, she said it twice.
She wanted to make sure that everyone heard it.
Yeah, elephants at the circus, not her thing, even if you got peanuts. Okay, and then so that was it. Sarah Beth gone. She'll hopefully next Thursday. Maybe we'll get some jury segment, but if it's since a double eviction, we may not. It might be a little while unless they throw it into like a Sunday night episode or something like that. Yeah, and then we want to get to the winner of this HOH. Talk about the week ahead for week 9. So if you don't want to know, you can get out of here. I'm just going to plug all our other shows here on Super Mader Brothers Podcasting. We'll be back on Saturday morning, 11 a.m. to talk about Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings, the new Marvel Cinematic Universe installment. Would be Jaemeel and Jeff. You're on that one too, right? You're coming in for that. So it'd be this panel here talking about the newest movies. We're seeing that Friday, most of us at least, and looking forward to talking about that. Also, check out our other channel, Live Long and Podcast, our Star Trek theme channel, where we talk about Monday nights. We talk about Star Trek the original series. Tuesday nights, Star Trek Deep Space Nine, and on Thursdays, like we did tonight, we talk about Star Trek Lower Decks, the new episodes releasing into season 2, which we did with Davin Skellhorn from Locutors of Trek earlier tonight. Check that out. If you're into Star Trek, or if you're not, you can always learn more about it. We also have Trivial Debates, our third channel, where we argue about movies, TV, sports, and more in a monthly game show format. Check that out every month, and I think that's it for all the shows. Oh, also check out my son's podcast, let's talk about fighting games with Eamon Mader. Okay, and with that, we are going to bring up our spoilers. We are going to find out who our new. I don't know. This will be a reveal for me. I think the rest of you seem to know. Let's get the spoiler. All righty, let's get her on. Like, what's going on with this HOH? Who is it? Okay, here's my prediction.
I was reading spoilers. I always I get distracted.
Is the new HOH, because if I had to pick somebody to win this competition, okay, so in the past I remember like Johnny Mac won this competition in Big Brother 17. Who could it have been? Could it be Ozza?
No,
we're not that lucky. Tiffany.
Yeah,
Tiffany wins it. Okay,
it was between Tiffany and Kyland, and I think Kyland knew he was safe because Tiffany's the one he trusts the most, the one he wants to be the most loyal to now that Sarah Beth's gone.
No, shut the up, Kylan.
Right. Like, how does he trust this woman? Like, what is he thinking? Like,
he told everyone, "Can I be alone with Tiffany?" while they were doing the challenge. It was down to them. Like, what?
Can we be alone?
Yes, because he wanted to talk.
I think
You might be
Kylan,
slick, but you can't fool me.
Kylan, like he saw what worked with Sarah Beth, and he's like, I can take this girl and I can put her under my wing, and when I win competitions, I she'll be somebody I can float things by, and then when that person happens to win, then perfect, even better for me, and I think that's kind of what's now. He's just pivoting. He's just like, okay, he's like, it obviously doesn't work with Hannah. I tried to get Hannah to play the veto, didn't work. So now who's left? I mean, he knows Ozza has the eyes for Xavier, so he's not even going to try that. So who's left? Tiffany. That's the only person, like, woman left, other than Claire. But he knows he can't go there, because of the cookout. So,
right.
Yeah, he's manipulating.
Kylan's not a team player, and I think that his tactics were more effective when there were other personality types in the house and then more people. But the fewer, I think that like the people he can kind of wave that magic at, and put that under the spell is going away. Like, I don't think Tiffany's as convinced by Kylan. She'll work that relationship to her benefit, but she's not like, ooh, Kylan.
How is Tiffany going to explain to Claire that she's going to put her on the block?
Who says she puts her up though?
Oh, really? You don't think she's going to put her on the block?
Put up Alyssa and X.
Yeah,
Xavier?
It's his turn, but he's already been on the block, sort of, but not really.
Do you think that's what's going to happen, or do you not think it's going to be Alyssa Claire?
Because why would Tiffany put up Claire?
No. Oh, yeah.
She can, but she's going to have to explain that to her.
It's a hard one to sell. Like,
yeah.
Hey, remember how when you were Invisible HOH last week and you helped keep my nominations exactly the same and you had my back completely? Well, I'm putting you on the block this week.
Or we're going to backdoor DF.
I mean, I don't think Claire's going to buy it. I mean,
right. But okay. But next week's double eviction, right? So let's say let's say it's Alyssa who goes first, right?
Yeah.
Are they not going to get Claire out in the next one, or will they take that chance to get out Derek F before Claire or whatever?
If Claire wins, then it has to be DF.
That's why I thought they might put up.
Assume like
I thought they might put up DF and Alyssa. That'd be the other thing you could do. But then Big D's gonna be mad.
Yeah, I will be mad.
Put up
according to Mary, Kylan was supposed to let Ozza win tonight. It would have been the best thing for the cookout.
That's true. Yeah, Xavier and Tiffany had to talk about that, but the problem was Ozza dropped like right after Alyssa did. Right after Alyssa.
No, I thought it was Alyssa then Hannah.
Oh, okay.
Hannah wasn't feeling well, and then Ozza dropped, and
well, Alyssa puked after she fell, so she actually wasn't feeling well. I don't think she did well.
Do you think like the spinning just made her like sick to her stomach?
Yeah, I think the spinning, like, people don't have good equilibriums, could totally screw you. Like, as far as
You
you're
have some water
nauseous.
in your ear, you're screwed.
Yeah.
And it was right when they got sprayed with like that silly foam or whatever from the clown statues or whatever. It was right when she fell. But you could see like her rope, she was like spinning while you're also spinning around, right?
Yeah.
Maybe your advantage if you're a little heavier than like Alyssa, you can like not spin quite as much or as fast. She was like almost like a figure skater there, like, and that's probably like got her dizzy. She might have an underlying issue that just took her out because it was Alyssa versus the Cookout. That was what Julie was selling us. Alyssa, tune in Sunday for Alyssa versus the Cookout. Oh, Alyssa fell. Do you think they picked this competition just because they thought Alyssa might do better at it?
Maybe
they were looking at it being an endurance comp. They kind of mentioned it being an endurance comp, and
According to Mary, it was just Kylan, Tiffany, and Azza for a while too. So no, Azza was final 3. It sounds like.
Yeah.
So Tiffany didn't drop probably because they don't trust Kylan. I think they don't trust Kylan to throw it to Azza.
Well, clearly he wasn't going to. He doesn't try. Like, after that whole thing with Azza many weeks ago, he's obviously not going to. Plus, Azza is beneath him. Remember,
she wants to be heard.
Yeah. We got the Kylan and Azza argument.
And if we just take a step back, Dave, reset, drop the attitude, maybe we could get.
I don't want to interrupt you.
Yeah, no worries.
But I would appreciate to feel heard.
Yeah.
Before you go into long explanations, because this is more turning into an interview where you're giving your explanations rather than me speaking of my feelings, which I would like to get across.
Well, what if we drop the attitude on both of our parts and reset and come back to a conversation where we are bringing good intentions and goodwill to actually do that objective? Is that something that we can agree to and try and reset and do?
I'm fine resetting with that.
We've literally seen this man talk so damn much. So what she's saying is true, that the dude just like takes over a conversation by just yapping on and on and on and on and on.
Yeah.
So you can understand when she's like, look, I came to you because I want to tell you something, and all that's happening is you're talking. So I want to be heard by you. I want to speak. Right? And he's
the way she words it is a little not the best, but what she's saying is fine. Yeah.
She's coming at him from a point like there is an attitude, but the attitude is justified because she's coming at him like saying like, look, I can say whatever I want to try to convince you, but you're just going to come back at me with this long explanation of from a point you guys have mentioned quite a few times just tonight how much of an elitist Kylan is. He comes back like, this righteous. Yeah. Go ahead, Jaemeel. I think you understand where I'm coming from here. Like he's just talking and he's just, not listening, and not hearing anybody, what anybody else wants. He just thinks he knows better,
BB and say, could you imagine talking to your wives that way? Why don't we reset and drop the attitude? LMAO. I don't think that Kylan and Azza are heading down the aisle anytime soon.
Oh, I've done this, but it's always a joke. I would never do it seriously,
Right.
I would get cut.
Yeah.
Question here. Who is the most unlikely Cookout Final 2?
Azza, Derek F. Because that would mean one of them has won a challenge.
Yeah, it is. It's actually like 2% chance of that happening.
Could you imagine? I think especially Kylan would lose his mind if it was like, how did Azza and Derek F end up as the final 2?
Azza goes on a challenge streak.
Yeah, and keeps
protects
big DCF. Yeah, that'd be great.
I would love that if like Azza came alive here in like the last couple weeks. Like she was a sleeper the whole season, and then all of a sudden like she started winning things and she started making huge moves, like taking out Kylan, for instance. That would be a massive. But when is he going to let her? He's never going to let her beat him. So she has to beat him on her own. She has to believe in herself too, because that like all these times
she starts hulking up. She's like, I will go down.
Well, yeah, like she keeps wanting to win because like it's supposed to like the Cookout's supposed to let her have her turn, and Kylan keeps saying no.
What do you guys think about this Azza throwing it to Azza thing? Like, do you think this is like you should win it on your own? Like, why should anybody your alliance throw you a competition to give you a win? You know?
Okay, I'm not. I think same as you. I don't think necessarily you should be throwing stuff to people. I understand the strategy of doing this in this case.
Yeah.
But if you're also Azza, and let's say she has been throwing it, she's been horrendously horrible because she has this air that she wants to present. If you are gonna win prior to the alliance time to compete against each other, wouldn't the best thing be that people throw it to you as opposed to you exerting your dominance? I'm just saying, just saying.
Yeah. I agree. I mean, I find like with Azza, like she could. I just feel like she's just so bad at these competitions, and it's. I mean, if I was in a game for $750,000 and there's just like 8 people left, I'm not giving anybody power when like if I'm in Kylan's spot and I have the ego that he has, no way, no way I'm doing that, and I understand why people say he's not a team player because he's not, but and this is probably going to be his downfall is my thought process right now. I'm in a game for this much money. He probably should throw it to her. You're right, Jaemeel. Yeah. And it probably would benefit him longer in the long run, but I don't know. I just don't know if he could trust Azza. He didn't trust the house tonight not to vote him out. I think,
Look, yeah. Also, addition to that, at this point, I don't care who anyone is. I want to win HOH because I want my food. I want my basket. I want my letter.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Simple as
and
that.
You want your Beyonce CD.
Yeah. Mary's saying he is not a team player. He's not coming to the cookout. Nobody can count on him. If he was going to throw it to Tiffany instead of him picking the wrong answer, he could have picked the wrong answer.
Yeah. That's
That's true.
So will Tiffany target Kylan?
No.
I think it's but the Claire thing is tough. Yeah, I think you're right, Jaemeel. It's gonna have to be Alyssa and X or Alyssa and Big D. That's the noms.
What if Alyssa takes herself down?
That's fine. Claire goes up.
Claire goes up, and then they backdoor Claire. Yeah, which sucks. I mean, that's
Tiffany's
again
HOH.
That's good. Tiffany doesn't want that. That's the last thing she wants.
If someone else takes out Claire's a guaranteed vote for Tiffany in the finals.
And she's working those jury members, guys. She is the vote, the hanky vote tonight was a clear cut working a jury member.
But you got to imagine, like,
she was literally asked by Kylan to do that.
Yeah, but still,
why would you say no? Would you say no? It's like, sure.
Give Sarah Beth a sympathy vote, Tiffany. And then Tiffany's like, sure. And then she's like, hey, Sarah Beth, it was me who voted for you.
But then Kylan also told Sarah Beth, too, that she was going to do it.
Right. So because he wanted the credit.
Yes.
Right. I think Xavier's watching all this and going, I'm going to take out all you nonsense, all this nonsense.
Well, that BB brings up a good point here, Dave, that what if Claire wins the veto and takes Alyssa down? Which I don't think would happen, but she could.
What, you think Tiffany's going to give Claire permission to do that?
Well,
although this could be a form of rebellion from Claire.
Claire has no agency. Claire does what Tiffany tells her to do.
She's saying that she wants to do stuff on her own.
She does keep saying it. She does. Yeah, she goes and tells us the cameras and stuff. But you had your chance. You had the noms in your palm of your hand, and you made sure Sarah Beth went home, and you didn't need to do that, right?
Yeah, I think our friend Major Kira said it the best.
You can't judge people by what they think or say, only by what they do.
What if they say really mean things?
They say really well, maybe then. But Claire, whatever she's
in Big Brother, yes. When you say mean things, yes. But in Big Brother, I understand the sentiment that Kira Nerys is saying. You can only judge the way people vote. That's often thrown around a lot in these games.
Votes are the only true indication of what's going on.
It's true. I mean, you can say whatever you want, but talk is cheap. And action is, what tells the story.
Game of Thrones, words are win.
Yeah.
Wasn't it funny when Claire was saying, I got to start making big moves in the middle of her secret HOH, which she did not use?
So excited.
So excited.
So excited.
Wow.
Oh, you know.
Julie.
I tried to do her accent, but it's like this cross between Fargo and New York City, and it's so difficult.
White person, baby, all day. I know. I've done that math
Like, she's got a weird way of speaking, I gotta tell you. Coming from Mary here, Alyssa is so upset. She has been crying ever since. Well, every time Alyssa loses, Alyssa has this real like pity party. And I get,
because she knows in her gut they're coming for her,
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Did you notice that she shouted out Christian tonight in the DR?
Yeah. Christian, we miss you.
Christian's a very good kisser, very soft lips. So I'd say he gets a 10 out of 10.
She hasn't forgotten. She lingers for his lips.
Yeah. Okay.
So they're aiming for Amazing Race, I guess.
Yeah, girls love girls. Girls love girls. They would be a good Amazing Race team.
Can we get an Amazing Race pairs with like, who else would it be? It would
I would love Kylan
and
Derek F and Ozza.
First episode boot. First
episode. Kylan and Ozza. Just watch two people absolutely just can't
try to have a weird conversation about resetting things or whatever.
Kylan and Sarah Beth after this season.
Oh, here we got from B-Bean. Alyssa knows she's the last Latina in the house.
Right. So she was the only Latina in the house, right?
Yeah. So that answers my question. She is not in the white person group. She's in the Latina group. I did question at the top of the show because she had called out Claire as the last white person, but
that's true. Yeah.
And then I think it's just like, oh boy. But I think like no matter what, we're gonna have a double eviction a week from tonight, guys, and so that's got to be exciting. Even if we know like after Wednesday who the first evictee will be, and let's say it's Alyssa or it's Claire, the second hour should be fun, no matter what. Here's a spoiler. Alyssa overheard Kylan and Tiffany talking about the 6, but maybe she was asleep. We will see.
I wonder who was talking during that period of time. Probably Kylan.
Yeah. Well, if Tiffany was talking, it was in a very low voice. Yeah.
Even if Alyssa heard about it, what can she do about it?
Nothing. She's going home. I think. I don't know. Like, I want to see Hannah go home, guys. I know I have her, but I want to see her go home.
I don't know why. I don't know why she just grinds your gears.
She grinds my gears, Jaemeel, and I just think she's playing a very like, I don't know, snaky game. Sneaky.
Was it because she didn't like Brent?
Everything that comes out of Brent's mouth, I'm like, it makes me sick.
It's her whole character. It's just not. It's not. She doesn't make me laugh. She doesn't like. It's all like mean girl stuff. Yeah. No, just not. I just want
indescribable feeling. I'm so excited.
You sound like it. I don't know. She grinds my gears. You're right. I don't know why. It just does.
It's super sketchy.
Sketchy.
Yeah. Sketchy.
Yeah. She doesn't like the sketch. Sketch B, all those things. She's not for it. Why? What, Mary?
Who?
Hannah? But she does like Enzo a lot. Hannah likes Enzo?
Well, I could see that.
Because
meow.
Is it because he puts the coffee in the coffee maker?
Oh, please not again, Dave. No, I can't take another coffee in the coffee maker. It's
just coffee in the coffee maker.
Look at the smile on that man's face. You know he was gonna do that.
I knew you knew it. Once you told me you couldn't take it, I had to do it. Yeah.
It's just there's too many, and one moment she's like having a fun moment with Brent, and then the next moment she's like throwing his reputation under the bus, and not that it was
deserved for
it was deserved. It was deserved, yes. But you know what I mean, like
Thanks, Hannah.
It was much better. It was much better what Whitney did where she kind of just had a conversation with Brent and said like, hey, like sometimes I don't think you realize the way you come across, you know, and said Hannah's like, no, I'm gonna go mean girl this guy and just destroy him. And I don't know, I just don't like that, you know. It bothers me.
At a certain point, though, it isn't someone's job to fix someone's bad behavior.
No, I didn't say you needed to fix it. She or anyone needed to fix it. But it was, I think, a much more compassionate thing to kind of say, hey, look, like maybe
you mean the brigade. Sorry, B Bean says, is Big Brother broken now that since Tiff's +1 plan will be replicated over and over again?
That's a great question.
That's the brigade's plan.
Yeah, it's a bit of a rough. It's a different model here, just because it's drawn across like specifically ethnicity. I guess is the only key difference here, and that I guess that is almost in a good way almost a screen for it, because it's not
the brigade though. Dave, it was all jockey bros, and people hated that season, kind of like this season in the same way, where it's like, especially women. I think
People
looked at it
though.
Big Brother Canada 7 ran the same way. And so, you know, and with all the what were they called? The pretty boys. They all had their showmances, and eventually they cut their showmances very much the same way.
Exactly. Yeah, it happens. Yeah.
Will it be replicated over and over again? I think so, because until you can create a successful counter strategy to it.
I think a part of it is how long Big Brother is. The fact that it takes a week to get somebody out, and it just gives you a lot of time to figure out, okay, what's the best way for where we can all commingle and be cordial with each other. And that's why I do prefer Survivor as a reality TV game show like of this vein, because, and especially I'm kind of excited now for the new season. The Monster's hungry because yes, it's 26 days, but they would
back, and the monster is hungry.
Yeah, I was hoping he was gonna wait for until it was done. The thing is, like what in Survivor, it's always like 3 days in between each vote out, right? Well, now it's only going to be like 1 or 2, right? So like, think about how much downtime there is on Survivor. Right, just in 3 days between, but now in Big Brother it's 7.
Well, it's kind of like Celebrity Big Brother too, right? Where that was a faster version of the game.
Mm-hmm. I think it's superior in some ways. I mean, as much as I like that it fills the summer and stuff, I do think it allows for more swings. And
You're shocking Jaemeel here, Mary, because I was a Survivor fan before I was a Big Brother fan, actually. But it's similar, like except you don't get all that live feed business, and I know that's what you really love. So so you do lose out on that part. But just seeing like the strategy week to week, it's not that it's not
typically a tighter narrative.
Maybe they could set up, like, since it's like only 26 days, maybe they could set up live feeds for Survivor. One day.
They're not gonna do that.
They're probably never gonna do it.
Never gonna.
Why do you think they'll never do that though? Like, what's the reason? Because it's not a control area.
Yeah, it's not how the show is built.
Right.
It's not how the show is built.
Big Brother's unique because they're all stuck in this one place and they can't leave.
And they have cameras everywhere. And
just imagine, like, they hide the cameras throughout the island. Like, so if you go to some random part of the island and you're like, you start looking for the cameras, you're like, where are the cameras pointing? Right? Because there might be a clue there. And you're like, okay, it has to capture that information. So you have like your line of sight. They're not going to have the idol not in point of view.
Right.
Yeah. I always was amazed how it was always one person looking for the idol in Survivor. It's like obviously a camera crew's following him around. How are the other contestants not going, hey, what's that guy up to over there with the camera crew's following him? You know what I mean? Like,
we will. How long until Survivor comes back? Like September 22nd or something?
Yeah, it's soon.
Is it when this show ends? Is it when Big Brother ends?
Yeah, it should be. Usually finale night and premiere night.
Is it like same. Naked and Afraid, as Mary's asking? It's not.
No. It's like Big Brother on an island.
On a beach.
But faster.
And they're dirtier.
Yeah.
Hayden Moss played the Survivor as well.
Yeah, Hayden Moss.
Yeah, they've had some Big Brother people go on there, but it's been more Survivor people coming to Big Brother, right? Or is it?
Not really.
Not really?
Yeah, no, the crossover's been Willie Hansen.
He was the brother of a
That's
Survivor.
A brother. Hayden Moss, actually. There's been more Big Brother play Survivor.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's not quite like they're not naked, but
Yeah.
sometimes they are afraid.
And Rob Cesternino was auditioning for Big Brother and ended up on Survivor.
I think that happens a lot, actually, where people audition for one of the shows and get put on the other show. You know, apparently Christian,
For this season, Girls Loves the Curls.
Girl Love the Curls.
Girls
yeah,
Love
he
the
was
Curls.
he was supposed to be on a Survivor season 3 years ago, and Probst
Didn't like him.
Didn't like him.
Didn't like the cut of his jib.
Yep.
You know, just like Frenchie. Probably she's got to showmance it up there, he said. And I'm not having anyone. Sam Sayer saying there's someone from Big Brother on Naked and Afraid of Love. Okay, so that's the new version of Naked and Afraid with love.
I've never watched Naked and Afraid.
Who? Okay, and then the question here is who from Survivor would do well on Big Brother?
I want to see Tony Vlachos play Big Brother.
It's too small of a house.
Yeah, I know. Where's he'll find a hiding spot, you know, trying to spy on people while they have they make dinner or whatever. You know, I think maybe I could even see a player like Ozzy being a good Big Brother player.
Yeah, he would be. Yeah, or Boston Rob would be really fun to watch in Big Brother.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think Boston Rob's an interesting one, even now, being an older guy, but especially in his prime.
Sandra would get on people's nerves.
Sandra would be good though.
Would Russell Hantz be an option, or Michelle Fitzgerald?
Michelle Fitzgerald would be a good one. She'd probably play well. Russell would be entertaining. He would go in so fast.
David from Big Brother 15. That's a deep cut. The surfer dude.
David from that is a deep cut.
He was the first evictee in Big Brother 15.
Yep, I remember him, David.
I do remember him too. Yeah, he's my namesake, so I keep track of all the Davids. I know.
Big Jeff on Survivor.
Big Jeff, yeah.
Big Jeff, your fellow Jeff. Where Eddie and Jameel's playing. Either one? Not yet.
Sorry?
No. Well,
I say because he goes. There was David from Big Brother, and he was mentioning Big Jeff, and then I was like, "Where's the Jameel?"
Nope, no Jameels.
No Jameels. More.
That's why they got to cast you, man. They got to cast you. You got a unique name.
I gotta hide all my my socials first.
Yeah, he's waiting for the socials to come down, go private, and then he'll play.
Yes.
Survivor. Actually, I haven't applied for Survivor, but I would do it now.
I wouldn't do Survivor. I can't swim.
I did all the Red Cross swimming. I could do it. I couldn't.
And I'm not pulling a Jervis and learning just before I get to the island. No, thank you.
You have to be able to do a few things, right? Like tread water and do basic because they don't want anyone to drown out there. I'm sure.
Yeah,
so
I would probably drown.
Oh, it's David. He's the one from Big Brother 15 who's gone on to Naked and Afraid of Love.
Not surprised.
Not surprised. I always felt like that guy was
8 years ago. He was on Big Brother 15.
I always felt like he was. He's the guy with the long blonde hair, right?
Yeah.
Blonde hair. I always felt like he was the prototypical surfer dude. He was injected with marijuana before they put him in this.
And we put him out because he couldn't have any more. He said, "Get me out of here."
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I think we're coming up at 11 o'clock, and we're going to wrap up for tonight. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in, all the shows, all the comments. Like, subscribe, make sure to share everything. We're going to be back. Well, of course, we'll be back Saturday morning to talk about Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings, and Sunday night to talk about Week 9's HOH as Tiffany will begin her reign, seeing how she plays this out and navigates this. Will she take out Claire next week? Wouldn't that be something? Okay.
Claire Bear Countdown.
Yeah, and until then, thanks for everyone. We really hope you enjoy the night. Thanks for following along. And with that, any requests as we head out here?
You know who my request is? I haven't heard any Kiefer in a while.
Oh yeah, here we go.
The man with the mullet, big gullet, bigger heart. Let's go.